Hey guys, my name is Bhavin and today we're going to talk about top things that you need to consider before getting into the UI UX design field. So let's jump right in. This video is specifically for all the starters, for all the students, for all the college students, and for all the people who are really interested in switching their career from other fields to UI and UX design. So first things first, you need to know what is the difference between a UI UX design and a product design. Now I asked the famous ChatGPT to come up with a basic difference between a UI UX designer and a product designer. And this is the result that it gave me. A UI UX designer primarily focuses on visual and interactive aspects of a product, ensuring a seamless and enjoyable user experience. On the other hand, a product designer has a broader role encompassing not only UI UX design, but also involves strategic thinking, problem solving, and considerations of the overall product vision. Product designers take a more holistic approach, considering the entire product life cycle and the business goals. Now, this is something that ChatGPT has come up with, but we will dive deep into what you need to consider before jumping into UI UX or becoming a product designer. So first, you need to understand the exact role that you're going to apply for. A UI UX designer's role is much more different than a product designer's role. So in short, I would say that you need to understand this particular role in detail. The best way to understand this thing is that you go to LinkedIn and check the job description that a lot of companies provide in the jobs section for UI and UX designer versus a product designer. You will come to know that there are minor set of changes that you will see in the product designer's role versus a UI UX designer's role. The really important thing that I would like to mention here is that if you are getting into this particular field for money, or that your friends are doing it, or you've seen someone do this, do not get into this particular field, but you should get into this field because you're passionate about designing something and coming up with really good solutions. Obviously, this will come through practice, but if those are your goals, I would say stop right there. Let's talk about UI UX design and let's talk about the product designer's role. For a UI UX designer, it starts specifically from user research, wireframing, information architecture, UI design, style guide, developer handoffs, prototyping, interaction design. So these are the things that a UI and UX designer will do. But on the other hand, a product designer will get into the business strategy, the content strategy, understand the problem, do the A/B testing, talk to the users, come up with solutions, explain the product nicely to the stakeholders, set up conference calls, talk to the developers in fixing the problems, and they also have a vision to solve a business problem in totality. So if you see, both of them have a little different approach when it comes to product design and a UI and UX design, but in totality there are 80 to 90% similarities in the things and the responsibilities and the role that they do. These are some of the responsibilities that you need to consider before getting into this particular field. You will be thrown with a lot of business problems that you have to solve via design. First things first, you need to have a designer's mindset and skill set before joining this field. You will be eventually focusing on the usability of that particular product in totality and trying to solve the business problem through that usability of the design that you have submitted. You also need to learn cross-team collaboration, where you will have to talk to developers, you will have to talk to product managers, key stakeholders, users, do the A/B testing with users. You have to do a lot of user research and wireframing. You will have to do UI design. You'll have to create multiple flows for your UI design and also do a lot of A/B testing with your users. You need to develop a design thinking process of your own, or you can also adapt to a design thinking process that a company has been doing since a very long time. Empathize with your users and prototype and test the solution that you provided. Point number 3, understanding the process. Design process, it is really important to learn the design thinking process before starting any project. Now, this completely depends on startups and companies, but you can also have your own design process in place with various number of solutions and prototype and test with your users more often. Again, this is just a basic gist of what steps that you can take before starting the project, but you can improvise over a period of time and come up with your own design solutions. Communication is the key when it comes to designing and developing a particular product. Whatever ideas you have or whatever goals you have, it's important to communicate to your key stakeholders or your developers or your project managers such that the output that you want to bring has to be in alignment with what your ideas are. You also need to have this important skill set where you empathize for your users, and you have to make sure that the goals that they have or the problems that the users are facing are solved in design. Next thing is collaboration. When it comes to collaboration, it can be really tough to kind of juggle between different teams and collaborate in one particular zone of thought, but it is an important skill set that you will have to build if you're working closely with a larger organization or even a smaller team. Collaborating with project managers, developers, key stakeholders is one of the most important things that you will have to do. You'll be able to develop this particular skill set over a period of time and with experience. You also need to learn the product thinking and overall process of delivering the right solution with a full-blown product feature specification. You will be given a product design brief where project managers will help you to understand that this is what we have to build, and you will have to decode that and solve that particular thing by your designs. After this, you also need to learn the art of presenting your design in a really skillful way. Presenting your designs to the full team, presenting your designs to key stakeholders. Talking more about skill sets, you need to learn softwares like Figma, Sketch, Jitter, Adobe After Effects, Notion, Loom. These are some of them that I could recollect right now. One really key thing that you need to consider over here is learning Figma is not going to make you a good designer. If you are in that notion of that if you learned Figma, I'll be a really good designer, I am sorry, my friend, you will have a long way to go. When it comes to skill sets, I get these questions a lot that do I need to learn coding to become a UI and UX designer or a product designer? If you know coding, it's a really good advantage so that your communication with the internal development team will be really smooth. But if you don't know, it is not necessary that you learn. Today, there are no-code websites like Webflow and Framer, which are at par with the industry standards, and a lot of big companies and startups have moved their landing pages to these platforms for speedy delivery and better turnaround time. So if you know these tools like Webflow and Framer, it will also be a really good advantage for you, where you will also have a control over the front-end side of design that you have developed. So learn Webflow and Framer. It is really easy. You need to dirty your hands on any of the tools that you are picking up and spend some 15 to 30 minutes per day and make mistakes and learn over a period of time. Another really important skill set that you need to build up is the delivery of your project to the development team. You will have to be really comfortable by talking about your designs to the development team and also address their queries tactfully. You can use platforms like Figma, and you can also use Zeppelin for delivering your design assets to the development team. In the end, you also need to learn to measure the overall outcome of what you are trying to build. And this is something that you will have to communicate to your development team, mentioning that this is something that you're building and this is the outcome that we are looking at, such that the development team and the design team are on the same page of what you are trying to build in the end. Showcasing your work is one of the key important things to get hired very quickly, right? It could be Behance, it could be your own portfolio where you have signed an NDA with your client, but 2 to 3 case studies is more than enough to get a particular job in a UI UX field or a product design field. Point number 7, applying for jobs versus freelancing or starting your own design agency. Now, all these 3 things has its own pros and cons. But first thing that I'll talk about is applying for jobs. For starters, you should be willing to learn new things and you should be ready to take up new challenges. Also, once you apply for a job interview, it's not sure that you will be getting the job in one go. Every interview is going to teach you something new every single time. And based on those learnings, create your portfolio and present those particular design ideas and thoughts very nicely to the interview. But you can also pick up complete product design project where you work on a mobile application or a website and you deliver it to your clients. Now, this can be done hand in hand with your work, but for this you will have to give a dedicated time slot. For example, after your 8-hour job, you will have to spend 2 to 3 hours more in order to earn that extra cash. You can only start freelancing if you have a good amount of clients who are willing to work with you on a retainer basis or are ready to pay you on a project basis. You can use platforms to your advantage. For example, Behance, LinkedIn. I have got a lot of clients through Twitter as well. So you never know what will click when it comes to freelancing projects. Now let's talk about starting a design agency. Recently, there has been a huge solo designer based subscription agency which is going on in the market. A lot of people have actually earned loads and loads of money through it by building certain systems around it. You can build the same, or you can also even hire a team of your own and get the job done. Now, these are certain service ranges that you can offer. For example, websites, mobile apps, landing pages, design systems, SaaS projects, pitch decks, brand guidelines, branding. There is a huge plethora of options that are available that you can offer to your clients. Now, starting a design agency is not easy, as you will need good amount of prior experience, as you will be the one-man army. You will be doing all the operational work, getting new clients, onboarding, designing, scheduling calls, raising invoice, handling queries, delivering the project, the long list of things that you will have to do in the end. I covered how to apply for a job versus if you want to get into freelancing versus starting a design agency. Now let's talk about how long does it take to become a good UI and UX designer or becoming a good product designer. It will either take you 6 months to 1 year to become a pro, but you need to work closely with some good teams and collaborate with them and build a strong portfolio. There are various ways to kickstart the design journey and learn everything in a traditional way where you are working closely with students and there is a mentor and a teacher who is teaching you. Or you can also take self-taught route and learn along the way by making mistakes over a period of time. Another important thing is that you have communities which hosts challenges on Discord and Slack. For example, I have a design community called as Design Works, and I host a 30-day UI design challenge. And there are a lot of design students who have been participating there and get good feedback in return. Learning Figma is not becoming a good designer. Learn Webflow, learn After Effects, Jitter, and other software. The idea is to keep practicing and to take that right action and always be hungry to learn something new. These were the basics that I've covered till now, but I will be also talking about how you can put AI to use for becoming a better UX and UI designer. Now, there are a lot of YouTube videos about this thing, but I'm going to talk in particular about Perplexity AI and Jasper AI. Perplexity AI gives you accurate answers to the questions that you ask. It's almost like ChatGPT, but it also helps you with some sort of academic research, content marketing, some market research, and also for various kinds of business. So you'll be able to get some copies in place, and you'll be able to understand and do your research in a much better way. So check out Perplexity AI. Now let's talk about Jasper AI. Now, if you're building a website or if you're building a mobile application, you will need certain copies in place. As I mentioned earlier, you will have to write those copies and learn the art of copywriting. But there are tools like Jasper AI which will help you generate text like ChatGPT, and you can use that text specifically in those mockups or in your designs today. You can translate specific languages over there, write various types of creative material, and it will also provide you with helpful answers to your queries. It can be used for many things, including customer support, email marketing, copywriting, and content creation in total. So last but not the least is a lot of people, a lot of students have asked me, a lot of designers have asked me how much salaries a UI and UX designer or a product designer can earn over a period of time. Each country has its own pay scale rate, but I'll drop in a link in the description where you'll understand how much a UI and UX designer can earn in India, how much a designer can earn in Europe, and specifically in US. The highest possible salaries that I have seen is specifically in US, and it can go in crores as well. But for that, you need to have an insane amount of good product solving capabilities. So that is it. It's up to you how you want to choose your pathway to becoming a good UI UX designer. There are design schools, there's a self-taught way. You can also get into freelancing, you can also join a particular company, you can also build an agency. So there are plethora of ways that you can become a good UI and UX designer. The idea is to practice, learn, and build something with design. That's it. If you have any specific queries, link in the description. You can get in touch with me on ADP list as well as Superpeer. And if you also have specific queries that you want to address, I'm also linking DesignWorks Discord community that we have built in the description. You can obviously join that and chat with the like-minded designers over there, and also join the 30-day UI design challenge. If you reached till here, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. And comment below if you have any queries related to UI and UX design. Thank you for watching this particular video. If you have any queries, hit in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to address your queries in detail. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.